have a certain advantage right now. One, I'm alive. I'm supposed to be dead by now. I had cancer in my head, of all places. I was able to beat it, but one of the effects of the radiation, because they're shooting radiation through your head, is I've been left with a little bit of double vision sometimes. So I've got twice the crowd for me. And it's great. I'll tell you, it's really great. Okay. Anyway, before we get onto my discovery, I just wanted to ask, how many people are cat owners? How many people own cats? You got cat? How many people own 2 cats or more? Okay. Something I just found out this morning, or I just sort of realized, this might almost be a slap your head moment. I'm feeding the cats, and I was getting finished the usual morning routine, and I realized my one cat, who's about 7 or 8 years old, he's kind of the take charge kind of guy. You know, cats all have personalities, I'm sure you know that. Max, my older cat, he's pretty laid back, very chill, and he was out there, like he comes out and he just sort of sits there, like, okay, I'm waiting for the food, and you know, he's assuming things are running along normally. Tommy, on the other hand, he's running back and forth, meow, meow. He wants to take control of the situation. I'm being directed by a cat in, you know, the morning routine. And this happens every day, and I'm thinking, even animals as small as that have their own distinctive personalities. It's really cool. But what I'm here today about was something that we've all had those slap your head moments when maybe you're riding a bus one day and you suddenly get that joke that you heard about a month before or something. Some aspect of it you didn't realize, and you know, should have known that. What's really bad, though, is if the joke was on you and you didn't realize it, and now you're just getting it. Anyway, one of the things that struck me, it hit me about two and a half years after it happened. Many years ago, I began studying biofeedback, first of all. I got interested in that stuff, being able to control your nervous system, your pulse rate, your breathing, your blood pressure, and all those really cool things, stress levels. And after having learned that stuff, I went on to some other things. I began studying hypnosis. Now, that was before it was legal in Ontario to be a hypnotist or a hypnotherapist. You actually eventually, I think in the mid-1990s, they finally changed the law, and you could then become certified as a hypnotherapist. So that's what I finally did. I decided I'm going to get myself registered because I've been helping people for about 15 years, doing all sorts of hypnosis for them and solving problems and watching people have these amazing recoveries from a number of issues. So in the middle of one of the classes, it was about our 3rd or 4th session. It was a doctor who was actually teaching the course, a Dr. Halyn Chips, as I recall. And he brought out a small device, what we would call, what a scientist would call an electrogalvanic skin response meter. We call a little tiny lie detector. And all this machine did was he was hooked up by a wire to a little ring. And you could put that ring on one of your fingers, didn't matter which one, and it would measure the level of sweat on your skin, or lack of sweat on your skin, basically the moisture of your skin. And that is supposed to vary according to your stress levels. If you're getting kind of tense about lying, you're sweating microscopically more, and this machine is able to pick it up. And as you relax, chill out, everything goes down. And it happens pretty quick. Your cells respond almost immediately to these sort of things. So he explained a little bit about this thing, then he put it away, and things went on. But I got kind of curious, and during the break time, I went up to him and I said, could I try a little experiment with that thing? I'd like to see if I can control it. And he said, wow, that sounds kind of cool. Let's do it. So he pulls out the machine again, and I put the ring on my finger. He turns the machine on, and the way it works is there's no needle on it or anything like that. It just emits a tone, like it's going me, like that. And as you get more tense, the tone goes, it goes higher and higher. And as you relax, the tone goes down. I thought that was pretty cool. So hooks the whole thing up, and then he says, okay, can you make it rise? So I start visualizing some stuff, and in a few seconds, the thing starts going up. That's pretty cool. It levels off. And he said, can you raise it higher? And I raised it a little higher, and then I raised it. I did 3 individual rises until the thing was screaming at a fairly high note. And then he said, now can you bring it down? And a little more visualization. And the tone starts to come down and down and down like that. And we thought that was pretty cool. After all those years of studying biofeedback, it was nice to know that a couple decades later, you still got that stuff. And by the way, this stuff is, if you're suffering from stress, believe me, you can learn how to do this stuff in something like 30 seconds. And if you practice it a couple of times a week, you're good. So there I was, finished this whole thing up. We went on with the course. About a week later, graduated. I was working in hypnotherapy for about 4 or 5 years, almost full time. It was great. But it was at about the 2.5 year mark after that little experience, I'm sitting quietly one day just thinking about stuff, and I remembered that incident, and I realized that ring was on this finger. Then I realized I could have put it on this finger, or this finger, my thumb, any other finger. I could have put it on one of my toes. I could have stuck the thing on my nose, and it still would have responded, because every single cell in my body is responding to my thoughts. I thought, whoa. You think about that, every cell in your body is responding to every thought as you're thinking it. Now, most of our thoughts are pretty innocuous, but visualize the poor guy. He's working at a job that he hates. He's been hating it for 15 years. He goes in. It's a terrible grind. He doesn't like the boss. He can't stand the coworkers. He didn't even want to work here, but that happens to pay a lot of money, and he puts up with it. That acid that you're pouring into your stomach every day, and that resentment or whatever, it's all fairly corrosive stuff. And then I began to understand why some people do get things like cancer or degenerative diseases. We're literally exhausting the resources of our body. I thought, wow. I carried that with me the rest of my life, remembering it, anytime I had to help people out. But if you've ever wanted to rule the world, you hear about these people, usually the villains in a movie. He wants to rule the world. Why would you want to rule a world of a few billion people when you're already ruling a world of between 37 to 40 trillion little beings? Those are the cells in your body. And believe it or not, they're all answering to your thoughts. And I realized, like if you hurt yourself, that's cells sending pain signals up to the brain saying, hey, we're not happy down here. It's pretty cool. We are already ruling a world that we inhabit. It's ours to do with as we wish. And I guess the only thing you can take from that, the thing I took from it, try to rule it well. Just be happy, as they say. Keep things positive. And that's about the best message I was able to pull from that, but it's lasted me a lifetime. It also got me beyond cancer. So that's my happiness, and that's my story. I'm hoping there might be something here that anybody can identify with. That's it.